何すんだよ。
押し倒されちゃった。待って。
ナオリ、苦しい。どうしたんだよ。
言わなきゃわからない。
Love is Indivisible by Twins, episode 4. And what a effing charming show, right? Like, I still think, right here in my 𝐜𝐻𝐻𝐽𝐻, my heart, I still think this is one of the hidden gems of the season. Honestly, on Twitter, on Reddit, that's really all the places I go to. On YouTube, even, actually, when I go to my feed, you know, on my anime channel, I don't really watch anything on there. I just kind of keep it to where, like, it recommends me, like, other, like, anime related stuff. I don't see anybody, you know, at least who comes up in my feed or on my feeds in those social media platforms. I don't see anybody talking about this show, and I just find that just crazy. Now, I get it. You know, there's a lot of shows out this season. You know, Aaliyah Hides Her Feelings is out. The one show that people keep talking about, I can't remember. The one where all the girls are in love, but no, the guys they like aren't in love with them. So the one guy keeps getting all the rebound girls. I don't remember what it's called, but something heroines or something. That show's talked about quite a bit. Oshinoko's talked about, you know, quite a bit. 2.5 dimensional seduction. We're covering that this season. That one's talked about quite. I just haven't seen anything about this show, and what's crazy, it's so charming. And episode number 4, I think that's what we're on today, right? For number 4, yeah. Episode number 4 is the antithesis of why when you break up, you know, out of a relationship, and it's a breakup like this, right? Like, you didn't break up because you suddenly fell in love, you know, like you didn't let your boyfriend stop you from meeting your husband, you didn't let your girlfriend stop you from meeting your wife, kind of thing. Like, you just broke up because you guys had a problem, or there was something there. Maybe you got broken up with, or maybe you broke up with the, you know, with the girl or with the boy because there was something specific that occurred, but you're still kind of in love with that person, whether you got broken up with or you're the, you know, the reciprocal is true. But this episode is the antithesis of why you do not immediately move on. Again, unless the only way you move on is if the reason you ended said relationship was because you ended up finding someone where you like, you realize, oh, I wasn't in love, I was in like lust, or like I loved the idea of that person, but I actually just felt like in real love. You know what I mean? Unless that's the case, you do not move on as quickly as this Jun idiot-kun moved on, because all he's doing is sabotaging the potential that he could have with Naori. Now, I'm not saying that Naori's not the guy, not the girl for him, but she could not be the girl right now. He should, you know, really, instead of giving in and getting gaslit by bitch-ass Ryuumi, he should have taken her idea, or, you know, taking what she said into consideration, but just allowed himself some breathing room, a month, 2 months, to just really get over this Ryuumi girl, and then really think about what he wants next. Allow himself to have those awkward conversations between him and Ryuumi. Allow himself to find the fact that he's still going to go over to their house often and see her. What their relationship's going to be after they're no longer in a relationship. What kind of friendship, if any, can they even have going forward? Like, he needed to take time to really figure that shit out, because what he ended up doing was he got gaslit by bitch-ass Ryuumi, and he jumped into Naori, and he can't get... he's not over her yet because of the way that the breakup happened, and seemingly because they're both still, you know, they both still have feelings, but they ended because, well, Ryuumi was feeling guilty because, you know, she was, you know, made a bitch-ass decision. On his side, he got broken up with when he thought things were going good. So, like, he's dealing with a lot of stuff. So even though Naori could very well be the one, you know, maybe, probably not, but, you know, she could be, But because of the way that things unfolded, he's really sabotaging the potential of her being the one because he can't get over bitch ass Ryuumi, you know? So that's really how I really think that they're really capturing that really well. And from a viewer's aspect for you and me, we get to have these feelings, these really big feelings. And I love that. You know what I mean? Like, I love that I can be like, yeah, I fucking hate Ryuumi, you know, fuck this girl. You know what I mean? I love that I can be that way because that means that it's doing something right. I think even if you feel voraciously about a character, whether it's positive or negative, I think that's still a good net positive for the show because you're going to come back and be like, you know what I mean? So regardless of how I feel about her, I think it's a good thing for the show to have this writing in a certain way. Now with the episode, you know, I think it's not a good idea to go to do a date where he had a date with the other girl, with Ryuumi. I don't think it's a good idea for him to have done that. I do think that he very much should have told Naori, like, hey, I love the idea of the aquarium or whatever, but me and Ryuumi went there and I want us to have, like, he just needs to get a pair of balls. Like, I want our date to be representative of me and you, not for it to have anything to do with your sister, you know? And I think from Rumi's bitch ass, she should have been like, hey, by the way, me and Jun went there, just letting you know. That way, you know, hey, help your sister out if that's what, you know, she's all about helping her sister. And I love my sister so much, but yeah, she's being a fucking, tell her, be like, hey, me and Jun went there on one of our dates. I'm just letting you know. And then Naori could choose, like, oh, I'm still going to go anyways. Or, oh, thanks for letting me know, sister. I'm going to rethink of, you know, what other place could we go to still do those things I think he would enjoy. You know, so anyways, like, that's really kind of like how I feel right now. With everything that happened with Naori and stuff, obviously Naori's trying to push the table. There was some talk about sex, you know, and I do think it's really important. And I do think, you know, when you're a boy or a girl and you have your first time, you know, if you're going to have a lot of big feelings, you know, I keep saying big feelings, but it's like a lot of emotion towards that first person. And that can skew your brain and that can have you thinking that you're in love or whatever. So, you know, it's one of those cautious tales. Obviously, Naori pushed the envelope a little bit at the end, and, you know, Jun stopped himself. Pussbag. But he did so, you know, because he didn't allow himself, what we just talked about a few minutes ago, he didn't allow himself to separate from, you know, Ryuumi, and so where he can feel good about moving on. Naori was just kind of pushing the table to see on what can she get out of him. But if he were to cross that line with her, I do think he would, sadly, you know, whether it's positive or negative, I do think he would forget about Ryuumi, because that's just kind of the way that we're wired, you know. And I think that on Naori's side, I mean, her feelings would explode in more ways than one, in more ways than one, probably, when it comes to Jun. So, you know, I think it's important, you know, to hold on to it. Because I think if he were to choose or she were to choose early, I think that, you know, some of the love that they're both seeking could potentially be lost. I'm not saying that it couldn't be found in each other a little bit later, but I think that it could really skew your mental if they take that, you know, full step. I think that could really F them up. So I'm glad he didn't. And I'm glad Naori, you know, told him, like, I don't think we're dating yet, bro. And I'm glad that she kind of pushed the envelope a little bit to see on, is he for real or not? Because I think if, you know, from her angle, you know, she's putting herself out there. I think if he were to have pushed the envelope, she could really feel pretty good about saying, okay, yeah, I think Ryumi's in the back now and I'm in the front. And from Jun, I think if he were able to push the envelope here in this moment where Naori is already basically giving him the green light, if he were to, you know, step on the gas, I think that he could do so if he was feeling like, okay, Ryumi's in the past. This is my future. And now I can feel good about driving the car past this green light. But because he couldn't, they're still at a yellow. So anyways, fantastic episode. I think it's very real, and I think it really represents a lot of feelings that a lot of younger folks end up having. I'm sure that we all had at one point, and maybe you are of these folks' age and you're watching this video. These are feelings that you will have or have had, you know. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. I'll see you guys next week for episode 5. Hidden gem, though. Peace.